Hey guys, welcome back to Astrologicals Racing. Today we're going to be diving into the first person view on how I capture these videos at such great low light. And of course, we're going to dive into the actual settings as well, which I'm super excited to share with you guys. What type of camera I'm using, the gear that I'm using, and then diving into the settings on how to capture that low light. I just want to shout out DJI. Also, they actually just came out, and I can't believe I'm late to this, but they actually just came out with a brand new firmware update where you could actually record 4K 120. There's super night mode. Everything has been enhanced even further so that when you're recording in even lower light settings, like I'm going to show you how I do this first person camera here, it captures it with such incredible detail so that nothing is left out. So let's go ahead and dive into the settings first. We'll go over the lighting that I use. And then, of course, after I go through all these settings, all these steps with you, we're going to finally show you the end result on how this is all done. First things first, we're going to go into the physical settings of the camera right over here. And now you'll see exposure. So when I'm recording at nighttime, I like to keep it on 1600 ISO. And that seems to be a pretty sweet spot for me personally. So, and then when I'm recording, you can record 4K 60, 4K 100, 4K 120. The rule of thumb when you're recording things like this, the entire idea is to double the frame rate of your shutter speed. So if I'm recording 4K 60, my shutter speed has to be 120. If I'm recording 4K 100, the shutter speed needs to be 1/200. And so on and so forth. So as you guys can see here, I record 4K 120 for a lot of my reels and my content. Is it 100% necessary to do so? Probably not, but if I have the capability of doing so, I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm recording 4K 120, right? So we're here. We're going to be selecting 240, right? So click confirm. Now the color profile that I've been using is HLG 10-bit. That enables HDR mode. And at 10-bit, it looks really, really good. So what HDR does, that actually enhances and brings down the actual blacks to where they need to be. So it's almost like an OLED effect, if you will. And it increases the contrast quite a bit, brings the whites up to a certain nit. So I like to keep them around like 300 nits or so when I do my post editing and export settings, so that'll bring them down to a really good level. So I'll show you guys that possibly in a future video on how to use export settings correctly as well, because that's also super important. So click confirm. White balance I always keep on 5000. And let's go over to the actual resolution. So when I'm shooting YouTube like widescreen like this, I like to shoot it on 4K 16:9. What 4K 4:3 does, that actually enables you to use the entire sensor. When you're enabling the full sensor, that allows you to have an uncropped, no restricted frame. So it's not restricted to a widescreen, and it's not restricted to it like a square. This is enabling the entire sensor to be used. So when I'm recording reels, I really like to record in 4:3. Just because it's enabling me to get the most light, the most information into the actual sensor as possible without having to crop it. Now, if I wanted to crop it in post, I absolutely could. But in this case, like for a YouTube video, I like to shoot 16:9. And then if it's reel format, like I'm uploading to Instagram or TikTok, I'll shoot 4:3. And then I can dial in those settings accordingly. So, and then another thing is like, if I'm shooting YouTube again, I like to, it's all about the user or the viewing experience, right? So have to have some sort of stabilization. I think that it really helps out the viewer, especially if they're viewing on a larger screen at home. If you have followers, get some personal feedback from them. Some people really like the jittery look, the action camera. So it really just depends the type of mood that you're trying to bring. I think I've been getting a lot better feedback when I have image stabilization on. But if I'm on an intense race, if I'm uploading a reel, if I'm really trying to enhance like the emotion, evoking emotion, right? That's another thing that I learned in filmmaking. When you're trying to evoke emotion and things of that nature, you want to keep this off. And what that enables you to do also is have like this jittery effect as well. And at a high frame rate, that can actually look pretty cool, right? So for this purpose, when I'm shooting YouTube, I like to have some sort of Stabilization, and then there's a Rock Steady Plus, which is really, really interesting. Like if you're shooting real estate or cinematic videos, like if you wanted to shoot, this rig, for example, if I wanted to get some B-roll, nice sweet shots, I would do this. I would absolutely put on this enhanced stabilization. Just know that when you have this enhanced stabilization, you're also sacrificing like a little bit of a zoom and a crop as well. So keep that in mind when you have that enabled. Is it drastic? Is it much? No, not really. Is it noticeable? To me, it is. All right, so I think that's pretty much it. Now you can go to, now Super Night mode is another mode that you can do. I do know that this is drastically improved. So previously there was a ton of just unwanted noise in the video, and it honestly looked like crap. It really did. I know that if you shoot also at a lower frame rate, like 24 frames per second, it looks even better from my experience. But also, that's just personal preference. Some people like to shoot at high frame rates, some don't. So Super Night mode is also a sweet feature if you wanted to see. So here's also another sample video. This is straight off the camera, just for example. So there you go. And this is the video that I'm going to show you towards the end there. But let's go ahead and talk about lighting next. Proper lighting, you're not going to have, it's everything that you see, right? Lighting is everything that you see. So without good lighting, without proper lighting, matching colors, and I've talked about this in another topic in another video quite extensively, it's rendering useless because everything that you see is light. So how a camera also captures light with its sensor, the amount of information, how wide the aperture is, how low it is, the amount of light that's let into the camera is also very important. So dialing in this type of stuff is extremely important, like setting color temperatures to certain times a day. I actually just ordered a couple of strips, and I'll show you guys that right here off of Amazon, so that when I'm doing daytime racing, I can set the Kelvin up underneath where the passenger flooring is and where my feet are, so that I can have full interior lighting at the proper color temperature of the time of the day. Crazy stuff, right? It's really about tricking your brain into thinking like, holy crap, all this stuff is going on. And I'll tell you this, like after a couple of laps, and I'm guilty of this, I really feel like I'm connected to the chassis of the car, for one, because of the ultimate wheelbase. I feel like I'm actually there. And two, when you can trick your brain into thinking, oh wow, like the color of your hands, the color of your arms are the same temperature as it is outside, like the color temperature. You're looking around, and it's like, this is kind of surreal. I'm getting to the point where, and I have been getting to the point where it's just like, you're like literally dissociating from reality, and you're in this car and having this experience on the other side of the world, going 183 miles an hour down a crest in green hell. So it's all cool stuff. So kind of a little off topic there, but yeah, I wanted to show you guys. So those are my camera settings. Let's go ahead and hop into Assetto Corsa Competizione, and I'm just going to show you the end result, and hopefully you guys get some more insight off of these real basic settings. So let's go check it out. Okay, let's go ahead and turn on the car real quick. Very nice. So what you guys are seeing here is this is the main light that you saw at the beginning of the video here. This is the pseudophoto, and I actually enabled this to almost like this UV blue / purple. And when, there you go, I just enabled my brights right there. And what that enables you to do is actually turn on the interior night lights on these cars. And just for reference, this is actually the Honda NSX GT3, I believe. And I think they might have an Evo version, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, here it is at night. It looks absolutely insane. Just the way, and also one thing to note that I kind of left out previously was the Philips Hue lighting. So Obviously, I have those 4 Philips Hue lights that are all synchronized through the computer. Now, if you're looking for a guide to set these up properly, there are a lot of guides out there. Alex K Racing, shout out Alex K, also made an incredible guide on how to set these up and capture certain points of the screen where they look and render absolutely amazing. The cool thing about these Philips Hue lighting, and I'm not saying that there's not other options out there, is the luminosity and just the response rate. The software low is just second to none. It's super easy to utilize and set up. And as of lately, they actually have the capability of seamlessly integrating with SimHub as well, which is actually really awesome. So back into the race here, yeah, we're seeing right here, these guys are, I think I'm racing some GT2s in here, maybe some pace cars as well. This Ferrari I was trying to keep up with, I think it was a 458 GT3, just exponentially fast. And I do see a guy behind me, but he's way back there. But as I'm driving under these night lights, you guys can see how dynamic and that's actually happening within the rig as well. So the stagnant purple light is key here, right? But all of the action that you're seeing, whether it's somebody driving really close behind me or I'm going under some street lights here, you're seeing all this lit up around me as well. And in perfect fashion, you can still see, even as dark as it is, even with a stagnant purple or blue light, as you will, it's still incredibly detailed. Now, as you can see in front of me, some of these cars kind of look washed out, and that's just because I have my brights on, and even in the game, that's just naturally how it is. You can see just how much detail is around, and it's just insane. So let's go ahead and keep moving here. Get some final thoughts here. If you guys have any questions, again, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. I think that we covered pretty much all of our bases here on how to capture this properly. So as we're rounding, these final couple corners, I just wanted to give you guys some personal feedback about this SimMagic Alpha Ultimate. And I know this is completely off topic about night driving, but I've been driving with it for about a week now, and I've tried some other sims. I still haven't tried regular Assetto Corsa. I've tried Race Room. I've tried AMS2. Notice that Assetto Corsa Competizione, I keep my settings around 50 to 60% in game, and then maxing them out in software, and then keeping the wheel speed around 60 to 70%. A little bit of damping here and there. I'm noticing the amount of detail, the buoyancy in the tires, the suspension. When I'm going over curbs, I'm actually feeling every little detail. And I'm not purposely shaking you guys. There is an actual feedback that's giving my arms like this look where there's a suspension and a buoyancy in the tires as I'm going over some of these crests and bumps and turns. This is not exaggerated at all. And if I'm going to be honest, I did exaggerate it just a bit when I had the Alpha Mini, just because I wanted to enhance the viewers, like, hey, this kind of looks cool, maybe I can give it some more cool effects. I promise you now that even with the rock stabilization within the camera, you have stabilization, as you guys can see. There is a lot of feedback that transfers into my shoulders and into my neck that gives this insane look. Here we are looking up the time. I am just, I'm thrilled. And I had a couple of questions, and I seen it in the forums online. Man, is it really worth going up to the Ultimate? Is it really worth spending $1,000 on this thing? The answer is really just, it's going to speak for itself. When you have experience, and I only speak from experience here when I have these type of discussions, and even from the sales standpoint, I'm not going to speak on things I don't believe in, and I truly believe in this product because it actually freaking works, and it over exceeded my expectations. If you have come from a G29, a belt-driven drive, whatever it is, Thrustmaster, G29, Logitech, whatever it is, man, and then you get into an ecosystem, whether you go Moza or go to the SimMagic Mini, just like I did, you will see an insane amount of difference as soon as you get into some entry-level direct drive wheelbases. the amount of detail, the amount of force, everything that's captured within these wheelbases. It's just, it's insane. It feels really, really good. And then you go up to mid-tier to, you know, these ultimate wheelbases. It's the ending experience of what, I don't know. I don't really race in real life, but I feel like this would probably be the most accurate that I've felt. Any type of vehicle, even driving at higher speeds like this. It's really a next level experience, and anybody that you have seen that, I think I watched another guy, I forgot his name. He was driving on a Mini for the longest period of time, and then he switched over to the Ultimate, and like he got sponsored by SimMagic or whatever. They sent him the new stuff, they sent him pedals to review on his channel, and he said this is the most insane experience he's ever had. Like when he was turning the wheel and he went to go through some extra, you know, feedback, he would feel like it would be clipping, but it's not. So anyways, I'm going to end the video here, guys. So we're going to get some final thoughts, and hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and answer any of your questions in the comments. Guys, that is going to conclude today's video. And of course, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, please comment them down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed these videos. You got some value from them. And if you didn't, then I'm sorry. I'm doing my best, I promise. I will see you guys on the track. Have a good one.